your glow, your transformation. For decades, Nu Skin scientists have refined both the art and science of skincare, blending tradition with trailblazing innovation. With ageLOC True Face, Nu Skin redefined the category, elevating from skincare to dermaceutical-grade formulations. Dermaceuticals are different from the average cosmetic. They combine the best of beauty and science with ingredient technologies like retinoids, peptides, antioxidants, and hydroxyacids. The result? Powerful, targeted solutions that support visibly hydrated, elastic, healthy, radiant skin. Every product has a story. Take ageLOC True Face Future Serum. It was built with an unconventional approach, intentionally looking beyond traditional skincare ingredients. Ingredients chosen not for trend, but for performance. It still holds up as one of R&D's proudest creations. Or ageLOC True Face Peptide Retinol Complex. Born from a formulator's library of exciting, high-performance actives, after enthusiastic internal testing and next-level results, it became a clear favorite. What really set it apart was the amazing feel on the skin, and even better, it delivered all the benefits of retinol without contributing to skin sensitization. Uplifting Rich Cream came to life after rich debates, literally. Teams weighed every detail, from skin feel to long-lasting hydration. Its luxurious texture became an instant crowd favorite. And today, we continue to hold every formula to those same high standards, ensuring each product delivers performance you can see and results you can trust. From powerful peptides to skin-loving hydration, this science-backed system is proof that innovation, care, and results can live in every single drop. Because when skincare is crafted with purpose, your glow says it all.
Hello. Hi, everyone, and a very warm welcome. My name is Evelyn, and I'm the Regional Product Manager for Personal Care in Southeast Asia and the Pacific. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us today. Now, whether you are joining us from Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, the Philippines, Australia, New Zealand, or anywhere else across our region, we're excited to have you here today. Today, we'll be exploring why caring for our skin matters and how modern anti-aging science has evolved, and of course, how ageLOC True Face, which is Nu Skin's first dermaceutical skincare system, works round the clock to give you a smoother, firmer, more radiant, and youthful-looking skin. We'll also be learning how Nu Skin's latest innovation, the Prism IO, can provide insights and complements a holistic approach to skin's health. Now, most importantly, you will hear real experiences from people who are using and sharing this product every day. A quick reminder before we begin. If you have questions during the session, please drop them into the Q&A feature here on Zoom, along with your name, your email, and which country you are joining us from. Okay, and why we are doing that? Because if we don't get to your questions here in live, our local team can follow up with you later on. To kick things off, I'd like to welcome our three speakers, and they are Casey from Nu Skin Global Research and Development, Adeline from Nu Skin Singapore, and Alison from Nu Skin Pacific. Here's a quick introduction of our first speaker, Casey. Casey is the Manager of Claims, Communication, and Education within our global R&D. With over 20 years of experience in Nu Skin, she's been a key driving force behind some of our most iconic innovation, from Galvanic Spa and Facial Gels to the ageLOC Lumi Spa, the ageLOC True Face Essence Ultra, and so many more. Today, Casey will help us uncover the impact our lifestyle and environment have on our skin's health and why protecting our skin matters more than ever. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Casey. Casey!
It's always a pleasure to be with Southeast Asia and PAC. Hopefully, though, PAC isn't getting too sick of me because I just presented to them last month, but it's a different topic. So, and as you guys know, because I tell you every time, the reality is you guys are my favorite region. Don't tell anybody else. So thank you so much for having me yet again. And I'm really excited to talk to you today because we're actually combining a couple of my passions together, and that hopefully will become very clear as I go through this. We're going to start off talking a little bit about PRISM and your score and what it means. So your PRISM score is actually a reflection of lifestyle choices that we make on a daily basis. These factors play a role in how many carotenoids enter into your body and actually even remain there. So if you're getting a lower score, that means that you have relatively less carotenoid concentration in your body in comparison to others. When you get a higher score, that means that you have a higher concentration of carotenoids relative to others. So what are carotenoids, right? We probably need to make sure we all understand that. Carotenoids are powerful plant-based pigments that are found in brightly colored fruits and vegetables. So think about the orange of your carrots, the dark green of spinach, the orange again of sweet potatoes, or the bright red of bell peppers or tomatoes. These pigments are an indication of antioxidants, or these carotenoids, and they protect the plants, but when you consume them, they also help protect our body's cells from oxidative damage that's caused by free radicals. And free radicals are just innately in our body through aging, through breathing, and just being alive, let alone being around in our environment. So some well-known carotenoids include beta-carotene, lycopene, lutein, and zeaxanthin. Now, the amount of carotenoids present in your body is influenced by several different lifestyle factors. A diet rich in colorful plant foods is the most direct way to boost your carotenoid score. While regular physical activity can improve circulation and metabolism, helping your body to absorb and distribute these nutrients more efficiently. On the other hand, high level of oxidative stress, things like pollution, not getting enough sleep, smoking, chronic illness can all deplete carotenoids in your body or causes free radicals to neutralize them. Supplementation is a great way to get through this, though, because with high quality bioavailable carotenoids, you can help to fill some of these nutritional gaps, especially for those with limited access to fresh produce or increased oxidative stress. Or let's just be honest, it's for all of those who just aren't eating as well as we know we're supposed to do, which I think is just about everyone. Granted, you guys live in areas that have probably a more abundant of fruit year round than where I live. So altogether, a balanced combination of diet, fitness, stress management, and smart supplementation can play a key role in determining how well your body absorbs and retains carotenoids. So what's interesting is your skin carotenoid score reveals your overall body skin and body wellness. Sorry about that. So what's really interesting is the more and more clinical data that we've done and that we've seen in the scientific literature overall, clearly demonstrates that carotenoid score, including PRISM score, is not only highly correlated with how we live, such as nutrition, environment, physical activity, sleep, but also significantly positive and is positively correlated to how well we live. So when we are taking care of how we live, we start to live better, meaning that we are feeling better in the body that we have. And as you can see from this slide, the carotenoids, or your PRISM score, is correlated to lots of different things. So it supports heart health. It strengthens immunity. It can help to fight inflammation, which is something that's going to have an impact all over the body. boost brain function, support metabolic health, support eye health, promote gut health, preserve cellular health to help reduce the signs of aging, and promote a more youthful looking, radiant skin. And that's what we're probably going to focus on the most today. I love this slide because it can be seen as a rubric, right? So it kind of defines what your PRISM score means, but I also like to think of it as a cheat sheet, okay? So this is telling you, no matter where you are on the spectrum, what can you do to do a little bit better? Now, I kind of wish I could be there with you in person, and so I feel a little bit disconnected. So in the chat, why don't you throw down, if you're comfortable, don't throw down your number. I don't want to put that much pressure on you, but throw down what color you started in and then what color you're in now. So you just have to do 2 answers, right? So did you start in red and are you in green now? And this might go all the way back to scanner days. Okay, and as you're doing that, and I want to kind of see those because I think that that's super interesting. So what we know is that when we look at our diet and our nutrition, the better we eat, the more fruits and vegetables we eat, especially if we're eating 4+ fruits and vegetables every day, which, let's just be honest, can be hard. We are more likely to be on that higher end. It also is impacted by things like whole grain, if we're eating healthy fats and protein like fish, if we're limiting sugar, and we're limiting fried food. Of course, taking supplements can help with that too, and that can give us a little bit of a boost. I know for me, I like to think that I eat well, but if I'm being really, really honest, I might be getting 3 servings of fruits and vegetables a day as opposed to 4+. But because I take really good supplements, it helps to kind of give me an edge and push me into some of those higher numbers. Sleep and lifestyle has a great thing to do with this too. So if you are one of those people who likes to go to bed early, then that has great benefits. If you're one of those individuals who's just innately a night owl, that could have some negative impacts on you. Obviously, smoking, and I don't mean to demonize anyone, but if you are a non-smoker, the chances of you getting a higher score are so much easier. Sun exposure actually has a lot to do with this too. So again, this is where your region might have a little bit more difficulties because it is sunny all the time right there by the equator. So that sun exposure, if you can mitigate that, and part of the way that you can mitigate that is not only dressing where the sun doesn't get exposed to you, but using things like sunscreen that can help to inhibit that sun exposure at the same time. And then of course, exercise. The more that you exercise, or the more regularly that you exercise, the higher your score is going to be. And it's also interesting too, when you look at like BMI and body fat percentage, if you're in the normal range, then that helps it. But it's all kind of related, right? Not very often do we find people who are in the healthy BMI, or at least adults who are in the healthy BMI fat percentage range, who aren't eating pretty well and exercising pretty well, right? Those things all work together to help us cheat, and I mean cheat in a good way, but help us get into those higher scores. And I love the fact here that so many people are now moving up, right? And I'm with you. I like to live in the blue. I've gotten into the purple once or twice, and I felt really like a rock star those days. But yeah, there's lots we can do to help push us up there. All right, let me close the chat for just a moment so I can get back. But I loved seeing that. Thank you for indulging me with that. Now, what else is interesting is that we've done some research and we've identified that PRISM scores connect to how you look. So this was actually a really big study that was done in China. It was done on almost 600 individuals, and they scanned with PRISM IO and also with the biophotonic scanner S3, so our latest version of that. And we looked at We also looked at diet, lifestyle, health, and skin attributes were collected. And when we found a correlation in between PRISM score, nutrition, lifestyle, skin health, and wellness. And as you can see here, we found that the higher PRISM scores were also linked to smoother looking skin, better hydration, fewer visible wrinkles, and feeling more energetic or having more vitality. And so this is an indication that your carotenoid score or your PRISM levels are correlated to overall wellness and how you look and feel. And what's really interesting, if you're a geek like I am, is there's so much research on carotenoids and overall skin health and beauty. And that makes sense also because if we think about it, like skin is our largest organ, right? And it's the one we can see. And they've talked about how skin is a window into your overall health. And individuals who look younger tend to have lower mortality rates. And so the younger you look, the longer you are potentially going to live based off different research. I'm not saying that for sure, but that's what research has indicated. So your skin protects you every minute of every day. It does things like it helps to ward off dehydration, so it keeps the moisture inside your body. It can protect from microorganisms and bacteria. Obviously, it protects us from injury and trauma, ultraviolet radiation or sun damage, and it acts as basically a barrier between our inside bodies and the outside world, with tissue being strong enough to actually protect us. That's one of its main functions. The skin also carries protein or keratin and pigments melanin in the skin. Melanin helps to protect us from UV and light sensitive pigments, ensuring that we're not overly damaged by sun's rays. So our skin plays a very, very important role in protecting us. And we can do much to protect our skin also. So there is this really interesting article that came out several years ago, almost 10 at this point in time, that talks about how topical products can help fight off the impact of environmental exposure. So if you think about your cleansers that you're using every day, they can help to remove pollution. Many of our formulas also have film-forming polymers. Think of like your moisturizers, and that can reduce the adhesion of pollution to your skin. So then again, it's more easily rinsed off when you are cleansing. Antioxidants in our products help to ward off free radical damage. I've talked already about how SPF ingredients help to protect against UV damage. And then barrier supporting ingredients can help strengthen your skin barrier and help against things like temperature fluctuations. And so what this is telling us is that when we're taking carotenoids and we're using a high quality system like the ageLOC TrueFace system, that they work together to help protect our overall body from oxidative stress, improve skin hydration and resilience, offer photo protection, and target the sources of visible lines, wrinkles, firmness, and elasticity. So really they work so well together to help make sure that we're looking and feeling more youthful. Now, if you've been with Nu Skin for a while, you're probably well aware of our well-established anti-aging science, right? So this goes back to the early 2000s when they decoded the human genome. As part of that decoding, they identified what each gene does in our DNA. And what we did is we took that information and we distilled it down into meaningful bits, right? Because there's 10,000 plus genes. That's a lot of information there. But not all of it is relevant to targeting the sources of aging. So what we did is we looked at that and we said, okay, what genes are important for promoting and maintaining youthful gene expression? And you can see on the left, it's a representation of some of our research that we've conducted where we're both upregulating and downregulating different genes to help us maintain a youthful gene expression profile for younger looking skin. And what's interesting about this is we're not just looking at rejuvenation or trying to be like, okay, individuals who look older, we're going to do this so now you can start to look younger. And we're not necessarily saying, oh, well, this will only works for individuals who are still looking young and where they're trying to maintain it. But we can do prejuvenation and rejuvenation at the same time. So for prejuvenation, we're targeting genes that are associated with decreasing inflammation in the skin, because we know that inflammation can lead to additional aging parameters to set in. It works with the breakdown of different molecules in cells. Rejuvenation has more to do with, again, targeting those specific sources of aging that make us look older. So the HA is your hyaluronic acid. Your sirtuins help to regulate your appearance of like fine lines and wrinkles and firmness and elastin. So again, we're making sure that we're getting this right balance, and it has benefits no matter where you are on the spectrum of the aging. And here you can see that this isn't just work that we've done and we're keeping it all to ourselves, but we've shared it with the scientific world at large. And so these are different posters and publications that we have on this data. Not only that, is with our ageLOC TrueFace skincare system, as the video mentioned, this is our first dermaceutical system. And what makes it dermaceutical is kind of that, calling it clinical strength. We have conducted clinical studies on all of these products. We have 109,000 plus clinical validation measurements. So this includes bioinstrumentation readings, dermatologist assessment, clinical grader assessment, and then even consumer assessment. And what's really important about this is sometimes instruments pick up on things before they're really visible. Clinical graders and dermatologists have a keen eye for things, and so that they can pick up certain things that maybe not the common consumer can pick up, which is important to know. But then at the same time, it's really important that we're not just saying, well, a dermatologist could see the improvement, but our consumers can see them too. So just the lay individuals in the subject, in the studies, can see the differences. And by that, then we know that you're going to be able to see those differences also. And this is based on over 300 plus clinical studies across the line. And we have studied more than 5,700 individuals. So these are real people who are using our products for a period of time. So here is the overall regimen. First, while not necessarily part of the system, we would always recommend washing or cleansing with your ageLOC LumiSpa and your activating cleanser, whichever one is best for your skin type. And the reason for that is, again, if I could step on my LumiSpa soapbox, because if you've heard me present before, you know how dear LumiSpa is to my Nu Skin heart. LumiSpa is not just a cleansing device. It was developed to really provide skin appearance benefits. It was created to have that micropulse oscillation technology that really works your skin to make it look and feel better. The cleansers just act as that medium. And the reason why we picked those cleansers was because just about everyone cleanses their face, male, female, young, old, right? And we've got an activating cleanser for just about everyone. Next, you'd move on to your refining toner. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm not always a big fan of toners. Like, I kind of don't get them sometimes. I'm like, I don't know if I really need this. I love the refining toner because the refining toner is packed with skin beneficial ingredients. It's not just helping your skin to recover from the cleansing step, but it's making it so you're going to get better results from your subsequent products. Plus, it has skin brightening ingredients in and of itself. So don't skip your refining toner. It is a key part of your regimen, even though it's in the toning step. And then you've got an array of serums that you get to pick from. We've got Future Serum, and we'll talk a little bit about those clinical results in just a moment. During the day, we've got Peptide Retinol Complex at night. We've got ageLOC True Face Essence Ultra, which can be used morning and night. And then if you want to add it on, we also have our line corrector, which is packed with peptides that is, again, morning and night. We would always recommend that you use something like Radiant Day during the morning because it has that SPF to help protect your skin from UV rays throughout the day, and then end with Transforming Gel Cream at night. Again, just to make sure that you've got that hydration that your skin's going to need until you get to the next morning and helps you tide you over. So this system, again, is all about protecting in the day, protecting from UV, having some antioxidant protection, and then rejuvenating at night, so helping to complement some of those nighttime processes in our skin so that we can get the most out of our rest and look our very best by morning. All right, this slide is super, super busy. There's lots here. So let's go over each one of these. We did a study on ageLOC True Face Essence Ultra, and in that study, we found 189% improvement in hydration after just 1 week as measured by instrumentation. We also did a study where 100% of the participants showed improvement in skin smoothness. And this was a study conducted by a contract research organization, and it's based off clinical grader data when people were using Future Serum morning and night. We also have 100% of the participants showed a reduction in fine line appearance in the eye area. And that, again, is in that same Future Serum study. 100% of participants experienced improvement in fine lines and wrinkles, as noted by instrumentation after 4 weeks. And that was in our ageLOC True Face Essence Ultra study. I'm sorry, I have to move us out of the way. 100% of the participants agreed that their skin felt more hydrated and moisturized after 2 weeks. And that was with the Transforming Gel Cream. That was an internal study. 97% of subjects agreed that the pores looked tighter after 8 weeks. And that was with our peptide retinol complex. 96% of participants had improvement in radiance. And that, again, is from our Future Serum study, which was used morning and night. 86% of participants agreed their skin felt lifted and more revitalized after 4 weeks. That was from using ageLOC True Face Essence Ultra. 76% of the subjects experienced an improvement in skin tone. And that, again, was from our Future Serum study. And 60% of the participants experienced improvements in hyperpigmentation. And that, again, was from our Future Serum study. So, again, a wide array of benefits from the different products within the system. And this isn't even all of the studies that we have conducted. But numbers are one thing. But when we get to images, that is something a little bit different. And as you can see here, this is a study from our 8-week ageLOC True Face Future Serum study. And I always wonder what you guys can see on your end versus what I can see on my end. But hopefully we're all working from really good computer screens. And if you take a moment and you look at the week 0 to week 8 and really focus on her forehead, you can see how much smoother her forehead lines look. You also can see just some overall radiance and firming, maybe some improvement in elasticity across her cheeks. And let's be honest, she just simply looks younger. She just simply looks better, right? This is one of my favorite before and afters. This is with peptide retinol complex. And this is after just 2 weeks. And again, focusing on those forehead lines, kind of the appearance around her eyes, her orbit bone. And again, just the overall brightness in her skin. Again, she's just looking better. And again, I just want to remind us all that these are clinical images. They haven't been touched or modified at all, and they're all being taken under controlled lighting. I love this one too. She actually has really good skin to begin with. But you can see the quality of her skin, like right in here, right? Her pores look smaller, her skin just looks smoother. She has more brightness, she has more radiance. Just throughout her skin, the quality of her skin's appearance has just been improved. And this is again from ageLOC True Face Peptide Retinol Complex, and this is at 4 weeks. These are some of my favorite also. These are from our ageLOC True Face Essence Ultra study. What I love about these is that they are just at 4 weeks. Historically, we've kind of thought of Essence Ultra as being one of those products that you have to use for at least 12 weeks to really get results. But additional research has shown that you start to see stuff much, much more quickly. I also like these images because they kind of narrow in on what we're looking at. And again, if you look at this first before and after, just the appearance of those fine lines and wrinkles right around her eyes. And that has definitely what is going to be impacted by the elasticity in her skin. And also a little bit cut off, but right in here too, just the nasolabial fold, right, is so much smoother. The one on the right, again, is just the overall skin texture, just the way that the skin looks. You also get a little bit looking like there's, oh, am I still there? A little bit more lifted appearance right at that jawline. And again, 4 weeks, who doesn't have 4 weeks to invest in a skincare product before they're willing to see results? So ageLOC True Face is a phenomenal are phenomenal formulas, clinically shown to have benefits. But if you complement that with also improving your PRISM score, you're going to get that inside-outside approach that's going to give you that overall wellness benefit that I think all of us are really searching for. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. This is great sharing. Up next, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Adeline from Singapore, to share her True Face experience. Now, before I give a short introduction of Adeline, here just a quick reminder, if you have questions for any of our speakers, Casey, Adeline, or Alison, please, just type them in the Q&A function of this Zoom. And do remember to give us your name, your email address, and the country you are joining us from. Okay? So Adeline's journey began with Nu Skin, began as a personal pursuit of wellness and healthy aging. Now, she tried our beauty and wellness solution, and she's so inspired by the transformative results that she sees. Then she has now become a strong advocate for holistic well-being, and she empowers others by sharing her experiences and insights while building a sustainable business and legacy for future generations. Now, let's join me to welcome Adeline. Adeline.
Thanks, Evelyn, for the great introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm very, very honored today to be selected to share. So, I'm just a everyday person that, you see on the streets. Myself, I'm actually an IT consultant. So a working mom to 2 young boys, 6 and 3 years old. And this year, I'm actually 42 years old. So what actually brought me to Nu Skin? I was first introduced to Nu Skin, because I was trying to lose weight, postpartum after having my second child. After trying so hard, I could not, shed the excess weight. So I got to know TRMe and then subsequently also Ultimate Duo. So like what Casey mentioned about how, we actually improve our health from the inside out. I really like the effects of these. I became a healthier, slimmer, built muscles. And when I came across like the skincare line from Nu Skin, I started off with the devices and with agreeing with Casey, I really love Lumi Spa, because the pulsating movement actually helps to lift the skin. So, it's a very good, I would say, a facial gym, to lift up, your skin and push it all up. And then, of course, I started with some of the skincare products. Firstly was the in our market in Singapore, we had the True Face Essence Ultra. So I really love that because it's a easy routine to include into my existing regimen. Before, I was I switched everything to True Face. So I really like how it helped with like the fine lines. I focus a lot around like the eye area because I was having a lot of lines appearing, being a mom and not having enough sleep, and also the nasal labial lines here that Casey mentioned. So it was very easy to include that. And then of course I was very excited, when the True Face entire system was going to be launched, in this part of the world. So of course I went ahead to get everything. And true to the product claims and the results, it really delivered the results that I was looking for. To me, I feel that serums are very easy to include in a regimen, and in my sharing with be it customers or friends, I would actually, from a product perspective, I would actually introduce serums first, because it's a very easy entry point. So, like for example, our future True Face Future Serum, I always tell people that it's like a corset for your face. So when you apply it, it absorbs very well, very quickly, and it has this instant lifting effect that I really like. And also not forgetting the neck. So this is where, we show a lot of lines as we age. So this is where you also need to kind of put a bit of focus here. So that's a very good addition to the skincare regimen. And then myself, I'm very acne prone. You can't see it now, but later I'll show you a picture how it was my texture and everything is not very good. But so things like retinol is very triggering for me, and I'm a great skincare lover. I've tried many different brands, the big brands out there. And previously in my previous line, I was with, one of the biggest skincare and cosmetic brand, in the world, the number one in the world. I've used all these products, and every time I use them, I would trigger outbreaks, and it's very bad for my skin. So I'm very happy and glad to be introduced to the True Face Peptide Retinol Complex. Initially, I was skeptical. I wasn't really very sure whether my skin could take it. But once I started trying, on some non-sensitive areas, like especially the forehead, where the lines start to appear, and these areas, when your frown lines start to appear, I focus on these because these are not areas that I have acne. And then I'm very happy to find that actually it does help with the texture, like helping it to refine the entire texture. And then later on, I started to extend the application to other parts of the face. And again, as a nighttime regime, as Casey has shared, it helps a lot, with the fine lines and the texture, and especially the pores. When you apply them over the face. So these are like my experience with the serums, which I think is a great entry point. And of course, with the other system, it comes together, as a great set. And through my experience in sharing, I've managed to help to convert some customers who were maybe other brand users to our True Face system. But of course, it starts from ourselves. I start using the products religiously every day, and then I share when people ask me, "Oh, your skin looks great. What have you done recently? How come it looks you look fresh and you don't have much lines?" Especially when I tell people my age, they are like, "Wow, okay." So I start sharing with them on the skincare regime, and I like to pair it with a device. So of course, LumiSpa is a great device, in terms of a gym, and also my favorite, Galvanic Spa. This is where everything comes together as a system. So maybe I can share like just my before picture. I think it was interesting because Casey mentioned about the Prism score. Okay. Okay. Does everyone see my picture?
Not yet. Okay. It's up.
Yeah, so this is my picture, like no filter, in the old New Skin office in Singapore. before we moved to the new location. This is also before I started on the TRME journey. And actually, if you look at my S3 scanner score, my score is very high. It's 59,000, so probably equivalent to like 590 or the blue zone, so to speak. But despite even at the blue zone, my BMI was high. I was considered overweight. My visceral fats were high, and look at my skin. I mean, the texture is very rough, and I have these like fine lines starting to appear around my eyes, as I mentioned. So now, after going through, inside out, outside in transformation, thanks to Nu Skin, my score is consistently was consistently breaking 1,000 points on the new Prism IO. So I was very glad that the scale expanded to 1,002. So I just measured yesterday. I'm 1,160. So it's something that I take it as a badge of honor whenever I measure my customers and their scores are maybe not so good, and they will be curious and say, "Hey, Evelyn, what's your score?" So I will measure, and they'll be like, "How do you do that?" How do you get the score so high? So that's my chance to share with them what the score means and what you can do to help you to bring up your score. So I think that's all for me.
Thank you. Thanks, Adeline. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. I love how you describe Lumi Spa as a facial gym. And of
Yes,
course
yes.
the True Face Essence Ultra as a corset. Wow, you are amazing. You know how to put everything into small, simple words that everybody can understand. Well, it's always inspiring to hear authentic experiences and know that, Nu Skin, we have the solution to almost every beauty and wellness need. I'm very, very proud of them. And now that we have heard the science and product experiences, let's talk about something exciting. How to turn your great products into meaningful conversations and a growing business for you. Okay, so our final speaker for today is Alison from the Pacific. So a very, very warm lady that Alison has built a successful business by focusing on relationships, consistent customer care, and of course, sharing solutions that people genuinely love. Today, she will be sharing how she has leveraged the ageLOC opportunity to create successful customer success story and of course to build her business. Please help me welcome Alison.
Hello, everybody. It's such a pleasure to join you today. So my background was actually in hair and beauty for 17 years prior to stumbling across Nu Skin. So I'd worked with big companies both in London and in Australia. And I'd done my research and had my salon stocked full of name brand products that I truly believed in. So you can imagine when one of my customers, who was a man, came and told me that he had a far superior product and I really should get rid of everything on my shelf and use this new product that had amazing science. So you can imagine my reaction to that, me as the professional, him a man who barely uses skincare, because I knew him well. His name was Graham Park, Team Elite now. And so I must admit I was quite negative and gave him a hard time of what would he know. But he did know that at the time I had, like I said, worked in big salons, but I just downgraded to a small home salon because I had two little boys and they were only babies. So I was trying to work out how I could have a better lifestyle and see my little boys. Anyone that's had a child on this call knows how important that is and how you want to be work from home. So the problem was, though, that that I was very, very busy and I was booked out 6 weeks in advance, and I had absolutely no time, even though I was working from a salon next to my home. I didn't have time to see my boys. So I was really looking for a lifestyle. So that's what Graham actually was thinking when he talked to me about those products. But of course, I'm a cosmetic snob. So I told him no 5 times, that he didn't know what he was talking about. I was the professional. I'd done my research. But he did one very smart thing. He actually said, try the products and see what you think. And I have very sensitive, dry, fine skin. And I thought for sure I would probably react. And I thought I'll use these products to prove him wrong. So I used the products, and oh my goodness, they worked amazingly, better than my name brand products. And then I decided to do my research. And so then when I actually started to look into it, I was amazed at the science that Nu Skin had, and it was very unique and it was far different from anything else. So I guess my story is, if you are talking to professionals, you make sure that you let them know about the science that we've just seen, and that come to them with something they haven't already got. So long story short, I started using the products, loved the products. That's where it started sharing it to my customers, and they were just raving about it. And before I knew it, I could suddenly see that I could have a lifestyle business that meant, by still working with people and helping them look and feel better, that I could also then create some more free time for myself. That meant that I didn't have to turn up every day in the salon to earn an income, and I had that lifestyle that I was looking for. So that's my story. So how do I build a business with ageLOC? So the first thing is, again, everybody has their favorite skincare. Everybody, if you're talking to professionals, they've already got their skincare. So how do we change people around? So I say we need to be the purple cow. What do I mean by a purple cow? A purple cow, so just imagine if you're driving along and you see cows everywhere, and there's black and white ones and there's brown ones, and they're all different. But if you saw a purple cow, maybe with some big white spots, you would stop and look and go, oh my goodness, what is that? Okay. And I think that our ageLOC science and our beauty devices are the purple cow, because they're different to what's out there. And so when I'm talking to people, I need to break through all the noise that's out there and be unique. So I actually start talking to people about ageLOC through the beauty devices, because that's where we're world leaders, and that's our uniqueness. And that is what a lot of people don't already have. And they're, and the ageLOC science, where we're talking about the gene technology, people don't have that. So we need to come to people with something that's different. So I lead with the beauty devices and get people's interest. And the wonderful thing about the beauty devices as well is, when you're demonstrating, the results are instant, and people can see instantly what they can do for them. So where you can, always make sure you have you can do put the product on them, the demonstration on them. Or if you're working on social, obviously some before and after photos, so people can see the instant difference, because that's what they want to see. But that's well and good. Devices are a great door opener. But what's your bread and butter for your business? The ongoing return on the time that you've spent with that customer. I have customers still using these products after 30 years, and they're on subscription, and they just keep every month they keep reordering. So it's really important that we introduce the ageLOC skincare system as our ongoing income generation. Now, the big thing about it is too that we've got incredible science in these products, and we don't know what's in other people's products. So when I'm talking to people, I introduce the device, but then I say, now this technology, and I talk about the ageLOC science, will only work effectively and get the results that you want if you follow the system. So there's no point in putting something else with it, because it may not work as well. And you've told me the results you want, so I want to be able to make sure you get those results. So always work with the system. So if someone buys a device from me, I will not sell a device on its own. I think that's pointless. I will sell a minimum of at least 3 steps, which would be a treatment serum and a moisturizer at the very minimum. But I always aim for customizing a system for them where they have a toner and then a treatment serum. Now, obviously, it can be the Retinol, True Face, Ultra, or the Future Serum. At least a day or more night moisturizer, if I can, both, because they're both important. And I actually use the line corrector as an absolute must because I get such good results with that product. I talk to them because everyone's familiar with the concept of an eye cream. So what I talk about is, you know, this is, instead of an eye cream, this will do way more than any eye cream. It's a fabulous big size tube, such good value for money, and put it, you know, around your eyes and your lips and these lines here, because that would be like an eye cream. So instead of an eye cream, and it will do way more than just moisturize like an eye cream. So make sure you make a complete system. Then the next part of the magic formula is obviously the subscribe and save. Now, I don't say subscription, I actually say a rewards program where you're actually going to save. And then I tell them how they can access this product at the best possible price, because people are very price conscious. And so if we can show them how they can save, and I help them set up their subscription. Now, subscriptions, I have subscription customers that have been doing orders, like I said, for years and years and years and years and years. But the only way it will work is you've got to put some work into it at the beginning. So don't just sign them up and think that, well, that's it, they're on subscription and leave it at that. I really look after them for the first 3 months so that they get into the routine and understand the subscription program. So the first thing I ask them to do when I register them for a subscription, I also ask them to download the Vera app and take their before photo, because we want to map that journey. Then every month I follow up. Okay, now I know we're not going to see, you know, the final results till month 3, but first month. So the first month, again, I reach out to them, make sure that they're using everything correctly. I'm also building the relationship with them and showing that I care. So we take another before and after shot, and even then we can actually see some differences on their Vera. And I love the way you can just slide across and compare photos. But I'm also building that relationship with them. And then I recommend one more product as well. So perhaps when they first started, they may not have wanted to buy the day cream, for instance. They might have just wanted to stay in budget. So then I'll start talking about the day cream. Or they might have bought perhaps the Retinol as their treatment serum. So now they're starting to gain confidence. I will talk to them about adding in the essence as well. So I'm always recommending one more product each time I talk to them, depending on their needs. Obviously at month 2, I'm going to be showing them how to redeem their subscription vouchers, which is a great way to say, let's redeem it for one of these new products. And at this point, at month 2, they're starting to really get results. I start asking, you know, have people been noticing? The answer is always yes. And then, you know, who do you know that would also like to try this product? So I start asking for referrals. Month 3 follow-up is where I then get the after photo, the final after photo, and ask if is it okay if I can do up a testimonial. So I use their words and their photos, but I find if I put it together, it's a bit better than waiting for them to do it, because they never get around to doing it. So I do their follow-up photo and create a testimonial, let them check that they're happy with that. So then I've got some great follow-ups. And then at this point, then I've built the relationship. I know their needs. I know about their family situation. I've become their friend. So now is a great time to then start introducing the business side of things. Would they like to be able to share and recommend, because their friends are already commenting, and make some products, enough extra income perhaps so they can buy all the ageLOC products, or maybe they need extra income for their family, for school fees or whatever, or perhaps they would actually like to become a career Nu Skin person and build an organization. So that's how I build my ageLOC business. So it's lead with devices and the ageLOC science, which is unique. Always sell a system. help them set up their subscription, show the benefits, and follow up. After 3 months, I then go to following up about every 3 months. So thank you, everybody. That's my tips.
Thank you so much, Alison. I really love what you have shared, and especially that we do know that it takes 90 days to build a habit and to grow and probably to fall in love and to enjoy or the products, and of course I'm so proud that Nu Skin has the solution to convince a cosmetic snob. Thank you, Alison, and all of our amazing speakers today. We truly appreciate your time. Taking time off your busy schedule to share your expertise, experiences, and insights with us. Now, I think now time is 12. I know time is up, but let's squeeze one question. Okay, let's take one question from the floor. Okay, I have from Zaini, okay, from Malaysia. Okay, so probably this is a question for Casey.
Okay.
So Casey, Zaini is using ageLOC Boost daily in the morning and love the results. So how does ageLOC Boost fit into the True Face regimen? And when to use Boost, or how does Boost, or can it replace any of our True Face products or steps? What would you think?
This is a really thought-provoking question. I really like this question. So thank you for asking it. So if we look at our regimen in total, right, we know that ageLOC Boost with the activating treatment, right, would fit into our serum step. So that's where we would put it within our regimen. So that's kind of the first part of the question. The second part of the question is, does it work with our ageLOC True Face system? And I'm going to be honest and let you know that we haven't necessarily tested it. But in my opinion, I feel like that can be a great complement, much like our ageLOC Galvanic Spa can be a complement to this regimen. Now, what's a little bit different about Boost is that you are using it every day. And you're using it in the morning so that you get that really quick initial boost to your overall appearance of the skin. I do think that if I were to do it, I would do it at the beginning of my morning step right here, right before I added Future Serum or Essence Ultra or Line Corrector or whatever I have in that step. I would caution though, depending on your skin type, right? 4 serums might be a little bit much, or you might need to let something absorb fully before you move on to your next step. So I think it all depends on your individual needs. Me personally, I probably wouldn't use all of those together. What's nice about Line Corrector, and Alison kind of alluded to this, is that it's more, you can use it as a spot treatment, right? And so you don't have to use it all over your face. So sometimes it doesn't have it's not too overpowering for some individuals. But if individuals find that this is a little bit too much and they're having to pick and choose between the two, I would go with what's working for you first and then make slower changes as you're moving on. So if you're already using Boost and you know that you're one of those less is more kind of people, then I would probably use Boost, and then I would wait to use Future Serum until I really felt like that was becoming more and more of a need as I got older, or my skin started to look like that was going to have more of an impact. But as you said, you're getting benefits with Boost. So I would definitely continue to use that right there and then move on to your other serums as is appropriate for your skin. Does that help?
Yes, I think so. I would think it helps, at least for me. I learned something new.
Maybe I can share a little bit also with my
Yes,
experience.
please.
So I'm also a great fan of Boost. But as Casey mentioned, when you layer too much, especially in our weather, because bearing in mind that this is for Southeast Asia market, we are very humid and very hot. And too much of this serum can cause a bit of a congestion for the skin. So my personal regimen for Boost would usually be at night. And I find it very useful for when I travel. So especially when you travel to other parts of the world where the climate is drier, places like Korea, Japan, even Australia, Boost comes in very handy. like, you just apply it before you go on the plane. It helps to lock in that moisture. And then when you arrive, you also top it up, for, after you wash your face, and that's the first thing you put as that extra serum, because the higher hyaluronic acid inside really locks in the moisture. But if like you're in Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, friends, from this area who are logged in the call, sometimes it can be a bit too much, with our humidity. So I'm very careful with using it in our climate because I'm prone to breakouts. So usually that's at night when I sleep with the air conditioning on. And I find that if you really want to use it for like breakout prone skin, it pairs very well with, let's say, the retinol complex, because the retinol complex may be a little bit drying for some skin. So also use it sparingly. What Casey also mentioned, I use it more for like a spot treatment for the problem areas, the lines. But Boost is overall a very nice kind of like a shield after you put the retinol complex. Yeah, but I would say, be careful with using too much serum. For our weather, I think True Face is good. It absorbs very well for daytime, and then the Essence Ultra for spot for the day, and then nighttime retinol is good. And if you find it a bit dry, then you could top it up with a bit of Boost. So that's kind of my usage experience, if it helps.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Adeline.
Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, there's no hard and fast rule, which is why, skincare is such a beautiful things to play with. You can really mix this and that and everything together. Okay, but ultimately just remember, go with what your skin needs or what your concern is at that point of time. Okay, now
Can I just
time,
add
yes.
something? The Galvanic Spa particularly, and the Boost also stimulate the skin. So whatever you put on straight afterwards, so I guess depending on what results you are after, put it on straight after your Boost. For me, because I have such dry skin, dry climate, we use True Face Essence straight after, and it soaks in. But whatever your serum is, straight after Galvanic or Boost, you'll get much greater absorption.
Thank you, Alyssa. I love this discussion. This is my most highly interactive webinar ever. I love this, ladies. Thank you so much. And of course, thanks to Zaini, for asking the question so that we can open up such a discussion. Well, time has passed so fast, our 60 minutes. We have come to the end of our webinar. Well, today we have learned how science, personal experience, and simple sharing approach can come together to create something meaningful results. And of course, a sustainable business for you. Okay, to everyone who joined us today, thank you so much for being part of this webinar. I hope, we find this educational, inspiring, and of course, most importantly, practical, that you can apply in your business after this call. Okay, so till next time, take care, stay healthy, and we look forward to see you again in our next session. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.